Let's get into it. 1, 2, 3.
Why, hello, and welcome to My Whiskey Den, your favorite public access whiskey review show where craft whiskey is king. There's a lot of pictures on there tonight. I had to spin way up a lot to find it. So sorry about that, little slow on the draw there. But it is good to see everyone there. Thank God the intro worked this week. That was nice. If you were here last week, there was a tad bit of an issue with some lag on my computer and stuff. So that's better now. Mike's with me tonight. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Thank you for your air quotes. I appreciate that. Mitch is not joining us tonight. He is busy at work. And Morgan, just get better. We'll see you when you're healthy and back on the show.
Yep.
So, but everyone else here, it is excellent to see you. Thank you for being here bright and early. Matt is just setting stuff up. So before we go any further, do you want to tell all these lovely people about the Bar Cart Co-op?
I would love to tell everybody about the Bar Cart Co-op.
I know. Sometimes I want to take this away from you. It's very exciting.
It's all I have, Patrick.
I know. That's why I don't touch it.
Okay. So the Bar Cart Co-op is a collection of friends who create content for the whiskey and other distilled spirits public. The Bar Cart Co-op YouTube and Facebook pages have information about upcoming and past special shows, which happen about every quarter. From blind tastings to distiller panels to discussions of special collaborations and the usage of unique grains. The Bar Cart Co-op has educational and fun episodes for your enjoyment, including the most recent episode that happened, which was Distilling History, which talked about two different projects that happened to contain a lot of the same people. One at historic Mount Vernon, which was really cool to listen to them talk about that process and listen to Steve Bayshore talk about that. Really, really cool. Makes you want to visit. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
If they could get people to pay money to go put in a half day of service, I think it would be a good idea. Of course, you got to really weed people out. But anyway, and then there was also the other part, which was the resurrection. Well, actually, in both cases, they were working on recipes from the 1700s. George Washington, obviously, they have that recipe, all the information from that. But at Stolen Wolf, Alan went there, and they are having a label coming out called Wolf and Wilson, which was bringing back a 1700s recipe also. So pretty cool stuff that you find there at the Bar Cart Co-op. So check that one out. The oldest show in the stable, which is Distillers Talk, was hosted by Christy Atkinson and Alan Bishop. It's a conversation with people from distilleries and distillery adjacent that gets into deep and sometimes off the rails and back again discussions with their interviews. New episodes arrive at the end of the work week. And if that was not nerdy enough, check out One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute. Another show with, you guessed it, Alan Bishop, where he answers any questions about distilling and often puts them to the test. It could be individual grains, entire mash bills, equipment, and methodology. New episodes come out randomly, so subscribe to catch up on that. And then we have the Bourbon Turntable, where they mix the love of music with the love of whiskey. They have conversations with musicians, writers, distillery folks, and common folks about music and whiskey. It releases every Wednesday on all your platforms, including YouTube. I don't have any information on August shows as of yet, but sweet Jesus on a cracker, there's some guy named Benjamin Eaves. Sounds like a circus name. Probably got a kid with a massive head.
Benjani Eavis.
So check that one out if you get a chance. Then there is If You Have Ghosts, You Have Everything, which is a show about the spirits and paranormal among us, as well as the unexplained and the spiritual. Subscribe on Spotify to get all 3 previous seasons and the 4th season, which is in progress. And last, but certainly not least, the Whiskey and Ring podcast with David Levine. And David does really fantastic jobs with his interviews, really good job with his reviews. And also, David does a really good job of being a new father. So congratulations to David and his wife on their new baby girl. Yeah, check out David. Where we lack class, David picks it up.
Yeah.
So anyway, we do have Bourbon Turntable this week is Jason Bronner and Mick Jagger, which I think that popped up on Friday, so a little early. And next week is Benjamin, whatever, the circus guy. The guy he's related to circus folk. That's all I know.
Yeah.
So we can. He comes from a long line of carnies.
Yeah. That is true. There was a point where Benjani was supposed to get a haircut. That is true.
That's right. Someone will have to question him about that. He's
that one jumped. You can put that back up.
He's a tent dweller. He's a tent dweller, sir. I'm gonna quit.
Maybe. I don't know.
Very
if you
cool.
have. That is neat.
Oh, and then there's another one.
What is it? Oh, see, there you go. It's just lighting them up.
He's just lighting them on fire.
The next one's Liberty Pole. That's an interesting brand.
Jim Huff from Liberty Pole. I know. I wish I could get some Liberty Pole.
It could
be. Yeah. So we got another minute or two here. Matt was putting out a fire.
He's working
regarding with some people from the Park of Highland.
Yes.
Can't say who, but you can guess.
Just I'm pouring out a little sip here right now.
Go ahead.
I had some leftovers from our blind corn tasting, so I decided to grab one of the sets.
Okay. Well, you might have to get some more glasses.
Well, I can do that. I like plenty of glasses, but that's okay because that's. Hold on here. I have a drink. It's been a while. Hell, we're 7 minutes into the show. I haven't had a drink. Watch this.
We're 7 minutes in. All right. Matt's and there's Matt.
Yeah, how's it going? Good. Thanks for having me on.
I'm flip-flopping around here because I don't like being on the top row.
Yeah,
how to make it pretty in here for you guys, Otherwise, there's bright lights, and nobody wants bright lights in a castle.
Hey, it looks beautiful in the background. I haven't gotten to go, but the way you have it set now with the lights, gorgeous.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a fun time.
Nice little ambiance.
Mike got lucky to be the first YouTuber from out of town to see it, so it's pretty awesome. Glad that he was the first one. It's really cool.
Yeah, it was very cool. I've got pictures from that, which we'll show as we go on. But I will partially introduce you, although I think most of the people that we have watching do know who you are because they jump on your show right afterwards. But we do have at one time was it the largest private collection of whiskey in Texas?
Yes.
Okay. I guess technically still the case, right?
The bottles here, there's about 3,000, and the house there's another 15. It's like 4,500 total.
And
it's a lot.
I'm sure your wife would say that's a hostile amount of bottles.
Yeah. It only took up 6 rooms of our house prior. That's all. So now we have a very expensive storage space that also is an educational place. So it's cool.
So we have Matt Zitrick from the Whiskey Crusaders with us, and they have their newish place. Open up is it officially called the Whiskey Castle?
Yeah, we call it if you look it up on Facebook or at Instagram, it's Whiskey Crusaders Whiskey Castle. But yeah, we just always refer to it as the Whiskey Castle. Plus outside it says WC, so you can call it whatever you want. So we made it inconspicuous what we are because on the outside it looks like there's nothing here at all anyone would actually want to see. So it's a good fun time. But yeah, once you get inside here, it's a beautiful castle full of whiskey.
It's an excellent transition.
Yes, it is. So I do. I'll have to ask a question because I have some stuff ready. But Matt, are we having anything in particular tonight?
I might have like 15 things. I figured Pat would really enjoy something like that. He would be sad if we didn't have that many.
You know, it's been a while, and I feel like that's fine.
Plus, I got a double header. I got you guys' show, and then I got my own show after this too. So it's going to be lots of fun this evening.
Well, we don't have to go that far.
Yeah, we try to stick to the hour. You know.
Yeah, that's fine.
So,
that's fine.
Yeah. For other reasons, but no, I did. I made a flight. I made a tasting, a three whiskey tasting flight in honor of it. All 3 whiskeys finished in Tokai. So I've got the St. Sally Nobleman, and then I have a Good Times with one of the best white trash tater stickers on it, with that shitty white wrapper. Whatever his name was.
No.
The guy who went to jail, they call himself something 69. Anyway.
Oh yeah. I don't know that rapper dude. I don't know.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I can't pronounce whatever his name is. But yeah, sure that dude.
Yeah, I don't care. And then the other one is it's a single cast nation whistle pig finished in Tokai.
Nice. Very nice.
So,
that is a nice series. So
good
yeah.
Can't go wrong with that. I figure start with some Blade and Bows because it's a lesser known Kentucky distillery. Fun stuff here, so it's good. I like it, and I haven't drank it in a long time, and I figure I should grab it because why the hell not?
Yeah, we got to pick something. You know,
you got to pick something. Sometimes that's the hardest part about being here is what do you pick to drink? And
yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a question for later. Is do you ever get stalled out looking for something? Has there ever been like an hour wasted by just like
that's definitely happened at the house for sure. Here mostly thankfully everything's in alphabetical order and by region. So thankfully I eliminated that problem, thank God. As long as you know what it is, you're in good shape. If you don't, then you're kind of screwed. It's gonna be a while. So I even categorized the scotches by type and by region so that would make my life easier.
Well, that's good. And that's also if someone's obviously it's a visual place. So if you're looking at it, going through it, it's neat to see them grouped that way because a lot of times people would assume you're going to get somewhat of a similar flavor profile.
Right.
You know, like not necessarily all the way, but at least something from it.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say, so we introduced you, and I think a lot of people do know you, as we said, but can you want to give us the 5 cent tour of your history, and then we'll work into getting the castle set up?
Yeah. So, basically, we had, like I said, a ton of whiskey all over my house, and I'm level 3 whiskey sommelier and wanted to start an educational place before I even knew the whole SOM program existed years ago. So, reading tons of books for the last, 20 years. And it's like, hey, it was one of the places like the place. There's really a couple of places that exist in the whole country, but nothing quite like that has a castle full of whiskey. So I always loved Legos and castles. And so I wanted someday to have a castle. So we finally built one, and it happens to be full of whiskey. So I can't think of much better things than medieval things and whiskey together. So yeah, so people come in here and takes about 2 hours, take a class, whatever. And it's, you pick it starts at $100 a person up to $500 a person. And it's any type of whiskey you want. We've got pretty much everything under the sun. You guys probably have more craft than I have. I have some, obviously, but you guys do a lot more, which is really cool. Really enjoy the great craft stuff, which is fun. We do have some of it in here. It just depends. But like I said, there's about 3,000 different things to choose from, so you can't be bored. And hell, I haven't tried everything in here. So then we also bring in distillers, blenders, brand ambassadors. And so actually on Friday, we have the global ambassador for Highland Park. Martin will be here coming over from Scotland. So it should be a hell of a party on Friday night. And they're getting all fancy and stuff with glass plates and crap like that. We're used to plastic and, paper and shit like that. But, whatever. It's cool. We're from Texas. It's cool. We just throw that shit out when we're done.
Throw beer cans at the dog.
Yeah, so that's what we do around here. We have a good time, though.
That is. It's a fairly good question. I don't know if there is, but is there a moat full of Wellers?
There's not a moat full of Wellers. I'm sorry. That would be cool, but there's not a moat full of Wellers. Like I said, outside's very unassuming. It looks like a moat out there. It's kind of ugly, to be honest. It's a concrete moat. So, but that would be fun. I wouldn't be opposed to having a gator that floated around in some Weller. That'd be pretty funny, personally. And a good use of Weller.
Well, you probably wouldn't want to do too much to the outside area because it's not like you're on private land. So if you did too much to draw attention to yourself.
Exactly. We're in the middle of a strip mall, and we purposely want it not to be that way, so that it does give it from the outside that speakeasy look. That what the hell is that place that's got all these curtains in it and you can't see inside? It's tinted out, and it's like, unless you know what's here, you don't know we're here, which is the whole point.
Yes, that's yeah.
It just says, as our logo, and says open by appointment only, which is very helpful.
Is there a phone number?
No, not on the front door. There's not. You have to figure out what it is. We wanted to keep it mysterious that way, so it looks like
a criminal attorney or a low rent tax office.
Right, exactly. You just never know. No, it's funny to have people that come in here and they get dragged here and no clue what the hell they're going to for like a birthday or whatever anniversary thing, and they're like, holy shit, when they open the door, they're like, oh, this is amazing, because they're like, where are we going? What godforsaken place am I being stuck in? They're like, oh, this is really actually great. So it's just pretty nice. Oh, that's funny.
It is. I dig that. So what spawned you to go from a house full of whiskey and one of the biggest collectors to starting a business of tasting whiskey or putting it?
I really like history and education, and I like teaching. So for me, it was the natural thing. And I've been laid off from my accounting job twice in the last 3 years. So unfortunately, you get to middle management, they don't like to pay you anymore. So it's like, instead of being having to deal with them as your boss and worrying about getting laid off constantly, be your own boss. It's a better choice. Like I said, I much prefer whiskey over accounting anyway, because this is way more fun. Accounting is super boring. So, it's like, ooh, numbers, that's exciting.
So in the setup, the process of doing that, though, this had to be new territory for the state of Texas.
Yes.
For like having an educational space like this. So what are some of the things that you had to go through to do that, besides I'm sure convincing them 100 times this is not a bar?
Yeah, it's like, obviously we don't sell booze, we don't sell drinks. We're simply just educational. Like, you can't come in here and buy a bottle. You can't, you just can't sell anything whiskey related whatsoever. It has to all be educational. So you can't just show up and go, hey, I want to drink this. It doesn't work that way. You actually have to come in for formal education from us or from one of our outside, like I said, blenders, distillers, or ambassador or whatever. So it has to be a class. So that's the one thing the city's like, you absolutely, under no circumstances can you do anything ad hoc whatsoever. Like, okay, no problem. Like, school, we're totally cool with that. That's fine. Just have to, we can't have people like thrown up in the parking lot and crap like that. Can't have people doing donuts at 2 a.m. Shit, they don't want us doing stuff like, they want to actually, this is a school. Like, we're actually registered as a school. That's what we are categorized as. So we are an educational facility. So the state's very, very much adamant that this is education and not anything else. So essentially, you're paying for education. The whiskey is just technically your school supplies. That's the way those work. So, they're technically not charging for the whiskey itself as far as the state's concerned. That's the way that they look at us. So, like I said, nobody's really done this. We obviously talked a lot with Daniel over at the Whiskey Vault, and thankfully they had paid for all the expensive attorneys and all that fun stuff to piggyback on. So thanks, Daniel. We appreciate it. So, it's one of those fun things. Had many conversations with him over the years. So we got this set up, and yeah. But state's pretty much cool with it as long as we behave and don't do anything stupid. We're good.
They restrict your hours?
Nope, they don't care. Since we're appointment only, they're pretty much like whatever. Yeah, it's not like you can come in here and order shots. Then they would have to obviously restrict our hours. But now we can open whenever we want. Now, granted, we're not usually open super late or super early. I mean, we could be, but we're generally just not. Most people that want to do a class want to do it usually like anywhere from like 11 in the morning till 7 o'clock at night is about usually start time. So most of the latest we're ever here with the class might be like 10. And we have an event. We'll have that usually ends at like 9 or 10, and then people might hang out. We do have this featured as our giant great hall of a castle, so there is community building here too, so people can hang out afterward and bring their own stuff in. Since we don't sell it, they can hang out with it as a group, and like if let's say Highland Park's here, they can bring their Highland Parks with them to ask their questions or whatever afterward, and share it with other people, whatever. So it's just a community thing at that point, as a private event center at that point. So.
You're labeling. I wish Wisconsin would follow some of those rules.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, Texas is a free state. Thank God. Now, do we have other completely jacked up laws for alcohol? Absolutely. Can't buy on Sundays. God, you can go to a bar on a Sunday, but God forbid you go to a liquor store. That's way too much to ask. Get it shipped here? Absolutely not. But whatever silly laws we have here. But thank God for friends that just don't care. So,
Did you guys have to jump through any hoops with the bar owners?
No, not really. Everybody was pretty much like, "You're what?" Like nobody's really done this before. Sure, why not? Just be good and you should be fine. Was more or less what we got from them. So like, okay, sure. Yeah, as long as we're not selling stuff and we're really adamant, we tell people we can't sell you squat. Because I've had people come here, well, can I buy that? Absolutely not. And now you're going to have to leave. So, a guy come in here one day, he's trying to buy freaking BlackBerry Crown. I'm like, really? That's what you came in here to ask me about? No, there's a liquor store down the street. Go buy it from them. They have a license to sell that crap. I can teach you a class about all the flavor crowns if you really want to. I will. I mean, you don't like it, so why
not? I could give you a lecture for 30 minutes on where your life went wrong, and then you can have some.
Exactly. But yeah, and we teach people too. You don't have to finish it. You can. We always have dumb classes, and you don't feel like you can spit it out. Whatever. If you don't like it, it's not going to hurt my feelings. It's no big deal. We'll figure it out. And that's the thing they're trying to hone on people is like a lot of people we get in here are new to whiskey, or I like one kind. I've only really drank one kind. It's like, well, why don't you try these other kinds? And we kind of try to hone in on what they like and not like. And it's fun to get people that leave here and generally go right to the liquor store afterward and are very usually buy a couple of things, which is very entertaining. So they like that.
Well, that's cool. When you're starting at. It's neat to hear that you're kind of like starting the search or like spawning the excitement about bourbon for people in that manner.
Exactly.
Because it's like you said, if you've only had one or I would have almost expected with knowing the selection you have that it might not have gone that route. But that's cool because it also, I would assume, would pick up a lot of repeat customers where even after they say they came there, went out and spent 3-4 months trying things like we all do and blow a bunch of money, but then come back and like re-gear themselves and be like, well, what did I miss? Because it's here.
Yeah, totally. They've missed a lot. If they've tried 8, there's another at least 2,192 to try. So that's all. You have a long ways to go. Like I said, I haven't tried them all. So it's like, so good luck.
Well, and that's what's cool is that you're not, I'm assuming you're not restricted by any distribution.
Nope. That's the other thing that's great since we're educational. I can have anything in here I want. So I have stuff from other countries and stuff that you can't usually get. A lot of stuff from Europe or from even if it's Canada or whatever. Or it's just stuff from other states we don't get distributed here. That we've got a bunch of stuff from Vikra up there in Duluth because it doesn't come to Texas. But we went up there and visited with Emily last summer, and so we think we have 8 different things from Vikra, something like that. So yeah. And we don't just have whiskey here, too. We have vodkas, gins, tequilas, flavored stuff, all sorts of interesting, random things, liqueurs, whatever. So we can teach a class on pretty much any type of spirit if they want to.
That's excellent.
So I'm going to pull up these pictures if you want to tell us what's in these sections. I got it in 4 shots here. So,
all right. So that's the right side of the room here. So that's all of our Scotch. So that first section there. That's all Speyside, and then the second one, that will be your Highlands, and then the islands are at the bottom of that where they start, and then the next one will be the finish up of the islands, then all Isla, then Campbelltown, Lowlands, and then on the very bottom we'll have single grains, blended malts, and then the whole next section is all completely blended scotches, and there's a whole row of Compass Box. And then at the bottom is rolled whiskeys. That's mostly the Taiwan, India, Israel, Lebanon. We've got, I think, Mexico in there, and Israel. Let's see what else we got in there. Australia, South Africa, and a few other countries in that one. So, and then to the right of that, that's all the beautiful flavored whiskeys there from Canada. So we got those going for us there. As you can see, that Crown Apple at the top there, and all that beautifulness. And then so we got Canada. And then we got American single malts, Japanese, and then European whiskeys, such as from France, Spain, Denmark, Austria, Czech Republic, stuff like that. So all sorts of fun stuff there. Yeah. And that section I'm standing in front there, then that's going to be all Ireland. So at the top, there's all the premium Irish, and then just the rest of it's just different stuff from Ireland.
Damn.
Okay, so then that's on the left side of the room there. We've got in the very back corner, that's all rye from there. Then the next that top row there, that's Texas. And then we've got Tennessee, and then American blended whiskeys. And then we've got some also wild, sorghum, oat, malt, just what are the random corn whiskeys, and just boo ryes, whatever other random things that don't really have a category. Is there ever a whiskey you want and can't find? Oh, yeah, that happens all the time. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff from crazy craft stuff we don't have. So, those are always nice to find. But, thankfully we have really cool fans that send us stuff, which is awesome. Now, speaking of fans, so in that on the tables there, you see a bunch of really old things with tax stamps. So we had one of our good friends, his grandfather passed away, so he donated his entire collection to us. So a lot of it was unopened stuff from like the 60s and 70s.
Oh, man.
So it was really cool. Most of it wasn't whiskey, but it was still like liqueurs and gins and vodkas and just random stuff. And all of it's pretty good. I mean, thankfully, there's a couple that are definitely not drinkable that have got some really gross things in them. And I'm like, I'm not going to drink this and die. So, we've got that going for us. And so then the middle section there, that's all Texas from top to bottom where that barrel is. And then next to that will be some bourbons.
Yeah, I can see the Balcones section.
Yes, we have a whole Balcones section there. They stand up. Yeah, we got basically 2 entire rows of Balcones almost. We might. I think I figured out we have 75 different Balcones to try. So we might like this still just a little bit. So So then these 2 rows are all Kentucky bourbons, and down in the middle of the second row there, that starts out with other states, all bourbon, but everything, from Indiana to New York, Ohio, you pretty much, as many states as we can get a hold of, we've got in there. And that's all just other states bourbons of the last couple of rows there. So fun things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think the pictures really do it justice.
You should come
when you're,
more fun.
Yeah, because I mean, you can see there's mat for scale, and then you take those sections all around there. It's
you can hold 60 people. It's a sizable space.
Yeah. This space is about 1,800 square feet, so it's a big castle. It's not just a little rinky dink. So if you guys I know you guys have been to the vault and stuff before, but think about the vault except for about 6 times that.
Yeah, I would think so.
So as far as space available to hang out in or whatever,
I mean,
you couldn't do a big event in the vault. It's pretty restricted as far as space goes. They got a ton of whiskey in there, obviously, but space-wise, not so big.
The original one, if you had 10 people in there, you were getting kind of elbowy.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that might be a good reason for the acrylic or plexiglass over the front of your shelves for good reason.
Everything is covered in plexiglass and locked because it's a school. It also prevents stupid. It's like because as we all know, most adults are still children and like to touch things that they're not supposed to. So it prevents the "don't touch that stuff" scenario.
Oh my God! Look at this.
It's exactly what happened. And it's funny because then they hit the glass like, oh, I forgot there's glass on there. That's why there's glass on there.
You should put a buzzer so when hits that when there's any pressure on the outside glass and it goes off, and then everyone
There
just
you
starts
go.
like, "Hey, sit down, dumbass."
Pretty much. It's pretty entertaining to say the least. When people are trying to grab stuff, I'm like, yeah, that's why that's there, so you don't touch that.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. So, but yeah, it's just another whole thing of like, yes, we're really a school. That's why it's locked up.
Yeah.
Not a free for all.
Right. Well, and you're not, because you're doing education stuff. You're doing. Well, I guess this leads to a question. It's not it like you said. It's not a free for all, but are you by law? Do you have to limit the amount poured, or did you guys just set that? It's like you get this.
We
amount
set that as ourselves. We set that ourselves. There's no technical law. I mean, there are laws about it for liquor stores. How many liquor stores actually follow that? Pretty much haven't found that ever does. But whatever. But yeah, basically we set it ourselves because our whole point is educational, and so we don't want people throwing up in the parking lot or something. So that was our goal. Like I said, keep educational. So you do 8 of them, but they're a 1/4 of ounce pours each. So you're not getting a whole ton. So total you're getting 2 ounces. And you're learning about them, like I said, for about a couple of hours and all that fun stuff. So, of course, about a half hour of it is them looking around and checking it out. So, it's a good time. And then we find, like I said, what they really like. And usually, especially if it's like a special, like a birthday or an anniversary, we'll try to pour something special for at the end from the top shelves from our $500 tier for them. So that's just something fun that they hadn't had before. So it's always good. Hey, Richard, good to see you there. Richard's been here before, so he knows what fun it is, too.
I snuck in. I saw that.
So yeah, I was going to show some of the stuff that, and actually I missed a couple of the pictures of stuff we tried. Because aside from for people to get the scope of how many bottles that you're looking at, it's not the same as the liquor store where you are above the height of the shelf if you are above 5'6". These are up off the ground, presented. They're only so many deep, et cetera, and spread out. So it's not like it's 8 deep on a liquor store shelf. So that's
right. Yeah, it's 3 deep on everything.
But also for people to understand that if you went there, because you can also like build your own flight, right? Say, I want to do a flight like X. So if someone said, I want to do a flight of distilleries that are no longer in business.
Yeah, we can do that.
You totally could do that there, because we tried 2 that were both really good. And it was like, what in the hell? It was good. I mean, and since then I got to try another one from it was a Mississippi distillery. The Lost Lantern put out. These guys were on to something, because it is big and bold, and we're going to have all the samples going out to people on the show, and I will include that the stuff that I send out to you, so you can try that as well. So Pat, I'm going to send him a bunch of Golden Beaver. So some of our other ones, because that'd be weird enough. But some of the ones that we got to try. Go ahead, Pat.
Weird. It's just neatly. It's unique, and the way the rice plays in there is it's nice. It's nicely complementary to what's going on in the process, and it does have a different feel.
I heard that stuff's good, but I've never tried it, so I'm excited to give it a whirl and see what I think of it.
We will slip you the beaver.
Oh yeah,
so
those people were really cool.
And these guys came to the castle, right?
Yeah, so we get a call on early Friday afternoon, say, hey, these guys are here from Ireland. They want to come see your whiskey castle. Can they bring you some stuff that you've probably never had before and check it out and learn about it from one of the guys who's from the farm? I'm like, that sounds awesome. So so they showed up late on a Friday afternoon for about a couple of hours and told us all about their whiskeys and their gins and vodkas. Like I said, that's the best vodka I ever had in my life. That Valley Key, it's a 6 times pot distilled vodka. It's absolutely amazing. That gin's also fantastic. But both those whiskeys are great. That's definitely going to be a distiller to reckon with coming here in the near future. They make great stuff.
I will agree with that. There's just another close up on it. Because vodka is not something I really get excited about, because it's got to not taste like vodka, basically.
Yeah, exactly, which tastes like actually good. You want to drink this, which is shocking.
Yes, yeah.
So exactly.
There's another one. Yeah, that one. That was.
Oh
that
yeah,
single
Pine
malt was
Barrens
supposed
out of
to-
Long Island Spirits. Yeah, that's good stuff. Another fun one. Yeah, that they'll put it out again. They just aren't currently producing that particular single malt. But yeah, it's good stuff.
And then we had this one, which was
Sadly,
R.I.P.
yeah, they're sadly out of business. Yeah, Black Canyon Old Blue. That's really nice bourbon out of Colorado. But yeah, sadly, like I said, they're gone, which really disappoints me because I really like that bourbon a lot. So many worse that one.
I remember
Yeah,
when they left. I remember people talking about that. Sorry, Mike, didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, I'd say that'd be one you're hoping somebody's sitting on a bunch of bottles.
Probably. I mean, you could probably find it on some random liquor store shelf in Colorado if you get lucky. Because I don't think they've ever, come outside of Colorado. But thankfully, we've got good friends up there that have were able to track things like that down for us over the years, which I really appreciate. So, oh yeah, so that's another tiny little distillery here in Texas called Sledge, and that's a cool thing because that's not even a whiskey; it's a distilled specialty spirit that's made of potatoes, tomatoes, cane, and corn, and then aged for I think 3 years in a char number 4 barrel out there in the middle of literally we drove for 18 minutes and passed 0 other buildings. It's in the middle of absolutely nowhere, and you go back behind this huge farm, and there's this amazing wedding venue and distillery. It's wild, and it's like this. It's good.
Yeah,
that was the even crazier part. I'm like, they have absolutely 0 distribution whatsoever. They're like, we sell it all here at our little distillery in the middle of nowhere. I'm like, awesome. And they offer 14 products. Half of them are like moonshine, but it was still cool. But it was wild.
When you were describing that sounded like was it
451?
That pizza pachuga?
Yeah.
That's
I know that's the one. Yeah, that one. We got to get.
But it was.
Yeah, Mitch has it, but that was it. As soon as it comes to your nose, you're like, I'm smelling a Chicago deep dish pizza.
Yeah, that's just.
And then you taste it, and you're like,
sure.
I'm drinking
a Chicago deep dish pizza.
But the guy, he was making stuff. He thought, I wonder what it'd be like to make a pachuga using pizza.
He's like, I don't like
so
meat.
he just kept
pizza. He's like,
stuffing it in the basket. And he's got a preferred pizza he uses. Yeah, it was crazy. Then another one. I mean, we get writer's tears, but you don't. Writer's tears cast strength. I'm lucky if I see that, but yeah, stuff like this.
Yeah,
we're not going to see this.
No, we got things like we got the ice wine, and the only reason we have the ice wine is the rep showed up one day. So he's like, I heard you were looking for an ice wine from Writer's Tears. I'm like, yes, I am. I've never found Donald always talks about that thing, like how awesome it is. It literally does everything I could have hoped for. It's awesome. I just could never ever find when he's like, I brought you a gift and you can keep this. I'm like, you are awesome. So yeah, so it's really cool to find something like this. Thankfully, people in the industry have been really, really great to us and just brought us all sorts of cool gifts and take really good care of us. So which I really appreciate. We get all sorts of fun stuff all the time lately.
Yeah.
It's like, here, we've come to the Whiskey Castle to pay homage.
Well, they know that you appreciate it too. That's one of the things
Sure.
that you're a rep. Obviously, you've known for years because they've shown up at your house for different occasions. I mean, I know there was a release that happened at your house. If I'm not.
Yes, we've had multiple. I mean, we launched Old Pulteney's when they rebranded for North America up in my bar, with Steph Ridgway. And then for the first time outside of Maryland, Sagamore's Port was done in my living room. So it's crazy. So like that bottle, that Teeling there, that's an old Cooley 24-year peated Irish that's cask strength single cask that a buddy donated because he's like, oh, there's a little bit of peat in it. I'm like, it's amazing. I was like, I'll take it off your hands for you. I'm sorry you don't care for it. He's like, the nose is glorious. He's like, but I taste peat. I'm like, yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. It's fantastic. So teach his own on that.
So with moving everything or moving not everything, because I know you still got stuff in your house, but moving this stuff out of your house, number one, I'm curious, what's your wife's attitude on that? And then also, did you move enough stuff out that you're like, oh, we have a cat or something?
Well, she's glad it's out of the house. She's glad about that. But she's also like, you need to make some freaking money. She's like, get on making that whole money thing. So it's like, we're getting there. Like, it's ramping up lately, which is good. It's just, it's a new business. It's slow. You're starting out, and a lot of people don't know you're here, obviously. So the more people that know about us, the better, obviously. And like I said, no one's ever left here saying they didn't have a great time. So that's the thing is, as long as you get here, you're going to have an awesome time. So what's been really fun is a lot of, like I said, newbies to whiskey, or I don't like it. Just try it. And they'll leave and go, oh, 3 or 4 of those are actually really good. And like the craziest thing has been how many women we found out have loved peated scotch, just absolutely loved it. They're going, I don't know what this is. This is amazing. We have to stop at the liquor store on the way home. Cool. So it's been really exciting to see a lot of people go into that, or like Aberfeldy 12 was just like, they freaking love that thing like there's no tomorrow. Aberfeldy 12 was always a winner for whatever reason, which I love that stuff too. So it's great. That just seems to be a runaway winner every time.
That's neat too. You're gonna see actual trends. Like you'll be seeing it really happening. Like when people are like blah blah blah, and they test it, is like, well, I've actually seen it, and this is the way it really works out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's fun because it gives a lot of people that are sometimes afraid to go to a bar and ask questions, and like feel like that it might be stupid questions. Like, ask whatever questions you want. Like, we're not going to judge you. You can drink whiskey the way you want to drink it, and you just want to know. It's like, hey, we'll happily answer it into the most simple terms. If you want to sit here and nerd out and talk about it, the vanillins and the lingens, we're happy to also do that with you, just depending what you want to talk about. Because we've had scientists come in and talk about things like that because it gets super ridiculously nerdy, and people just want to sit here and have a good time and learn about stuff because they just want to know.
Well, and sometimes you'll be in a group and someone goes down that nerdy path, and the first thing like, what's the lingen? What? And you're like,
yeah, totally.
I gotta pay attention. Hold on a second.
Right.
What are we talking about?
There's no doubt. It's entertaining.
No, but I think it's like you were talking about. I think it's great to add to a travel stop. You have all sorts of things along the Texas whiskey trail and stuff. I think this is a whole nother thing, and I don't know if they'd ever allow you to be a part of it because of how things are there. But I think it's a wonderful stop that plays into the entire.
Like I said, we do have an entire Texas section.
That's what I mean. I'm like,
yeah, it's like we had a guy here from Belvois, the French company, the other day. It was his first time in Texas. And so he's like, can you teach me about Texas whiskey? I'm like, sure, absolutely. So I think he was here for 3 hours. He brought me a bunch of stuff from France, and we taught him about Texas whiskey. He had a great time. He's like, oh, there's so many great things in Texas. I can't wait to come back. So it was really cool to teach someone from France about it. So you just never know who's going to walk in the door here. And every day is always a fun adventure. No one's ever sad to be here or doesn't want to be here. It's like, oh, this is a fun place. Awesome. So people, it's like I always tell them, it's like, whatever time you think you're going to be there, just double that. That's the right amount of time you should be here.
That's a good way to put it. I was going to say there's a lot of the class goes for an hour and a half. You'll probably be here for 3.
It has definitely happened because, you just get to talking and, a lot of times it's about life experiences or whatever. And then just walking through like, oh, well, just different types of whiskeys, and you just get super nerdy a lot of the time, which is great. It just depends on what you go. And you just never know what rabbit hole you're going to end up talking about that evening because it's just whatever questions get asked during class. So it's a lot of fun.
So where are your referrals coming from?
All over the place. Some have come from the internet, but most have come from word of mouth, or we were at, remember the Colleyville Chamber of Commerce. Someone might have walked up, set a booth, and it's like, oh, that's really cool. And sometimes it's been neighborhood.com, or it's just been people found us on the internet randomly. It's been all over the place. It's just really been completely random, most of them, which is good, but we also need a lot more of them. So, just one of those things.
We hope to.
Yeah.
6 hours. It could take you that long to check out the whole place. There's no doubt about that.
If you're doing that, Emily, we might as well just hire a food truck outside for part of it.
There you go. You got a pop-up camper out in the front. There you go. But yeah,
And if anyone gets out of control, Emily will take care of them too.
there you go. She'll take them out of here. Exactly.
So have you guys been well received with local whiskey groups?
Yeah, the ones that have come and checked it out have been super supportive. We haven't had a whole lot of them come out. The biggest group has really been people with Chris Trevino, which is Liquor Hound. Of course, is a good friend of mine that I've known for years now. But he's been super supportive and really helped us out, sent to a lot of his groups and stuff. Like we are with like the DFW Whiskey Club, and we've got stuff into some of the Whiskey Cartel and stuff like that. But a lot of them, unfortunately, have not been out yet. But as soon as they get a chance to come out, they're like, "Oh, this place is awesome," and they get it. Once they finally get a chance to say, it's hard to describe to a lot of people without even seeing it here. Once you get in here, you're like, "Oh, I get it. It makes total sense." Especially the whole, like I said, community building is super important to us. So get people to come in here and make new friends and all that good stuff. And it's like, oh, well, we went to this really cool event, and then afterwards, so and so brought out these bottles that I'll never ever try again. And now, and then next time they come out, they bring some really cool stuff with them. And so, like I said, you have new friends you never knew you knew prior. So, which is a lot of fun to do that and teach new people, and just it's really great about that. So.
Well, and that's one thing when you're trying to explore or figure out what you like in whiskey, but even also if you, depending on the state that you live in, you might not get to try a lot of things. And there's a lot of cities, I live at it's an okay sized city, but we had a really good whiskey bar and they decided to retire, and so, but even still you're limited by one, what they choose to curate, and two, what they're allowed to buy. So if there was something that you wanted to try, a lot of times you just can't do it. And that's one thing I think people understand. It would be worth it to go hit places. And as we always say, go visit our ginger overlords in Denison on your way coming through the state. And it's not that far from Dallas. And then go down and get an education and come up with one. You can come up with a flight that you'll never get in a bar.
Oh yeah, easy
at inflated bar prices. I know they got to make a living, but I mean,
right. Like
the glass of Jim Beam's not worth $10. So I'm sorry.
No, I understand. Like I said, we go anywhere in tiers of $100 starting and up to $500, depending what tier things. But the mass majority of things are in the $100 tier for the most part. But there are also the $200, $300, $400, and $500 tiers. Just there's certain things I just can't replace, or the distilleries are closed, or that bottle's simply $500 and up. Or it didn't originally start at that price. It's just that's what it's worth nowadays, and I can't pour it for any less because I can't replace it otherwise. I've got some that I might have paid $200 for years ago. They're worth like $4,000 now. Unfortunately, they're on the $500 tier because I can't replace it. So it's things like that. Like it just depends.
Well, that's part of the business model too. Like you said, if you want to continue to have an experience and have stuff on that shelf,
exactly.
It went from what it was before, and
right, because
the guy at Walmart, a couple of years ago it was $168. Today it's $412.
And that's the problem, exactly. Or if you take even Redbreast, I mean, Middleton in general is just out of control right now. I don't know who got in charge of their pricing. Why some of the things went from a couple $100 to now they're $500, and it's like, well, I guess I'm just done with this brand because this is just out of control.
Well, like you're saying, I don't mind you having one or two things of that tier.
Right,
that's cool. Everyone has something super special, but you got to have a section where it's attainable. For a collector. So I just don't want to have one bottle. I came in and I like four of the things you had.
Right.
I didn't have $1,000 set aside today.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas, you come in here, let's say even a class is one of the $500 classes. I'm like, there are zero other places you can try these things at that exist. Number one, it's a lot of money, but at the same time, the experience you're going to walk away with is unbelievable and just cool stuff you're not going to find anywhere else.
Right.
No, it's like that. Even if you went to the best bars in this area, they pale in comparison to what we have the ability to offer. It's like they might have one really cool thing, and they're also going to charge you some absurd price to try it.
They'll do $50, $75 for a shot of Weller CYPB.
Right.
Because that's what that goes for versus the stuff that you've got that you're legitimately saying, it's like, hey, this is what these bottles cost. Well, those are also things that you don't shoot them because know, it might be a quarter ounce, but you're going to drink that quarter ounce for 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we're not going yet because we're not speeding anybody through a class. It's like, oh, here's your pours, get out. It's, like I said, you're only pouring one every 10 minutes or so. So you're getting it fairly slowly, which is it's just the whole point. It's educational. It's not sit there to get drunk. So, it's one of those things. Yeah. And the ones we're pouring you generally are really good. We're not pouring you we don't have a lot of crap in here. The only crap we have is stuff to teach for classes on faults. And that's about it. Other than that, we pretty much culled all the garbage out. So,
Is there a fault shelf?
No, I just know what bottles they are.
Sorry, that corner. Don't go in that corner.
Yeah, there are certain things it's like, ooh, that stuff's not good. It's like, ooh, there's a reason for that.
I almost wanted it to be like a special corner cabinet.
Yeah. Hang a shelf above the toilet.
Yeah. There you go. Well, right now we have the most interesting man in the world above the toilet, so he's having a good time. Because that's the guy you need to look at when you're taking a piss. So,
he always looks smiling at it, too. That's got to be a little weird.
Oh, and it's a huge freaking picture too. It's not small. It's like a 3 foot by 4 foot. It's a massive picture of him. So yeah, it's not some little tiny 8 by 12 thing. But most people, they come and we coordinate ahead of time with them. It's like, well, what kind of whiskey you want to try? A lot of them don't know. So a lot of what's really been popular is around the world. So we'll do a lot of different things from just one from each section type thing to get people to things. Or sometimes it'll be all scotches or different types of scotches or whatever. And we just kind of coordinate with the client whatever they want to do ahead of time. So. Because otherwise, if we had to try to pick them while they were here, we would be here for 4 hours.
Well, yeah, that's where you get the person see me at one point can I come in on Saturday and then have a class next Saturday? Wait a minute, I just want to look around and I want to pick up.
Yeah, totally, exactly. Yeah, I mean, some people have come ahead of time. It's like that's not enough time if you show up 15 minutes early. You don't understand. They don't understand. They get here I greatly was misguided when I showed up this early.
Yeah,
nowhere near enough time. It's like, why don't we help you?
Because it's not a bar.
Gonna make it otherwise.
It's not a bar.
It's not a bar.
And I don't think do you even have a bar in there? I was gonna say,
I do where we serve stuff. That's basically for small classes. We'll sit here at the bar. That's where I'm sitting right now. Right,
okay.
But yeah, this is where I'm sitting at the moment. It's this bar top. So, but yeah.
Whenever I've seen it, it's mostly been just tables, like you said, more community section of stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, because that's what's behind me. That's what that's all. This is all the seating out there. And that's getting ready for Friday. So. And
Friday's Highland Park, are they not?
Yeah, it is. Like I said, Martin, the local ambassador, will be here, so it'll be a good time.
It sounded fancy.
Oh, it'll be fancy. They got glass plates and everything. So,
Hey, that'll be a fun night. That's one that, for me, when I first had it, I was a little iffy on it, and then as I had a progression of older things or even some new twisty things, I was like, then I started to adhere to the brand more. I'm like, okay, I see where everything's going. And then they had that section of explosion.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It's 5-6 years ago. It was like, well, they have Highland Park this, they have Highland Park that, this and that. And I'm like, holy shit! Hold on a second.
Right. It's wild. It got pretty wild there for a while. They've kind of scaled a lot of that back now, but yeah, for a while there, it's like, holy crap, that's a lot of different products to offer.
Well, and if you get some of those, if you're doing something neat for just a little bit, or it happens, and you know that's the way it's going to go, I think it's okay to have a cool release like that every now and then.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah. We have many of them. Nowhere near as many as Joe has. I think he has 150 different Highland Parks. We're nowhere near that many. We have 20-something different Highland Parks in here. It's that's still doing a pretty good job of it.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. Have the distributors been cool with it?
Oh, the distributors have been awesome. they love, like I said, usually they come in here and drop things off. They're like, you don't have this, you need this in here. It's like awesome. And they usually come and hang out. We just talk to them. And usually we're setting events up with them for either live streams or setting up to do an event later in the year with them that they'll come back and bring usually their, head ambassador or whatever with them, or the distiller or blender. Like, hell, Barrel's been here twice.
Yeah, I was going to say that's cool. But I can't imagine all the other people going out there. I think the classes are actually the most unique part, with everyone kind of coming in as a brand ambassador. That drives people to it's like a showcase event. So
yeah, the events that I've seen that they put on there are, it's impressive. One, who's there, who is there to put it on, who is showing up to do this for this really nice event. But to just get aside from looking at the number of bottles, just to understand what is there. Like you could go, if you just said, I want to try gins you cannot get in the United States because you're a gin person. I want to, guess what? You can get it there. Or like I said, we tried whiskey, a couple of distilleries that are closed, and you can come up with your own flight. But as Emily put the link there that will show up, you can go on there and there's the stock ones, or you can build one. Sure. You can try things, as he said, where their light on is if you want to say what he has is light on anything is American craft outside of Texas. He's got some. He had some J. Henry and some other things like that, but there's some things that they don't have. It's just because they can't even get through Texas.
Well, yeah. Well, that was one of the weird things. There were people in Texas were getting Spirits of French Lick barrel picks before people in Indiana and Kentucky.
Yeah. Yeah. That one place in Dallas
up.
called the Liquor King.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were getting single barrels of stuff that you couldn't get.
And it's just, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Well, and you can see that to try to stay on top of big brands and doing that, and then to try to also dabble in, I'm going to call it all the craziness going on in craft whiskey, because you could pick a subset and there is an in-depth look, or some people doing some unique stuff if you want to get into it.
Yeah. And I do want for the people that are still in the chat or watching this afterwards, some other things that, because looking at, Matt loves getting samples because who doesn't, but it's stuff that they can pursue. And one of just because he likes, tends to like things are different. That's why one of the reasons I talked about is doing.
Sorry about the internet crapped out.
But if there's other suggestions that people have for stuff that they know that we have to send on, because I've also got French lick stuff that's on my list to send that. And that may be another one that you're not going to be able to get again.
That's the side prediction.
Yeah. Well, the way things are going, but yeah, just because to have a place where people can go and try stuff that they're just not going to get, that's pretty freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, we try.
It is. But I know you just hopped back on, Matt, but we are also coming up to that 9.
Yeah, I know. It's 9 o'clock. It's the bewitching hour. You got to kill it.
You got to do your own show.
I got another show in 30 minutes, so it's all good.
So, but thank you for coming on the show tonight, Matt.
I really appreciate it.
Something who's ever going to the Dallas area on a trip or a travel, it is something I think you should start factoring in as something you should be stopping at and putting on the thing, because it's like you said, it's a unique experience. You're not going to have it other places. People say bars and whatnot, but you're not going to hit what you're hitting here. And that's the type of experience we love.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you're traveling out of state to Texas to do any distillery tours in Texas, obviously you're going to get some things you won't get anywhere else, but I think you do yourself a disservice if you do not stop at the castle, make an appointment and stop there, because you're going to get great stuff with that distillery, but then you're going to find something else, especially if you want to go outside the United States in there, you will find something that you are not going to get anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
So, But thank you, Matt, for coming on the show. We greatly appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
There's a possibility I might even make my way down to Texas at some point this year. I don't know where it will be, but
Sounds good.
I might extend the trip. Might be part of the request.
There you go. Sounds like a plan.
So, but we look forward to seeing you again, and I am loving all the neat stuff that you're putting on at the Whiskey Castle. I think that's the thing that if people don't know about it, it creates an entirely special evening that they're going to remember. Like tomorrow night, I mean, that's just cool. I mean, those are memories that are something different, because a lot of people have a whiskey dinner at a bar or restaurant and stuff, but you're not trying something different most of the time. You're not talking to the national brand ambassador. You're just talking to the guy who was serving the meal.
Yes.
It's not as exciting. That's all.
Or you do like I did when I visited, and this is Matt's recommendation. A couple doors down, the pastry shop.
Definitely hit them up. They're awesome.
Oh, holy shit!
I told you,
we got there because we're like, oh, okay. We're like, well, it's just there's not a whole lot out here. But then I started talking to the lady, and it's like, why that place is there and what it is. And you're like, oh,
yeah.
And then we both had stuff like, oh, this is a great way to start off.
Oh, absolutely. I recommend everyone stop at her bakery. That is definitely the place to go first. She's also going to start making stuff with whiskey for us, which is really cool. So I'm excited to have some stuff made with Ardbeg 10 and some baby blue Baconas. So it should be a lot of fun.
Sorry. Got all excited. Like I said, thank you, Matt, for coming on the show. We greatly appreciate it. We really love what you're doing, and we look forward to get down there, hopefully relatively quick. So
that'll be great. We'd love to have you.
So, everyone else out there, remember, it's not the size of the den that matters; it's the love of whiskey. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.